Make this real quick, guys. This is the AEA Challenger Elite that I had a problem with the regulator blowing air out from the inside, okay, from right inside there. Now, the problem that I ran into is that when I went to adjust it, because it seemed like the regulator screw here had backed itself out or was set way too high, okay? Now, the O-ring that goes into the regulator, this is the new one, this is the old one. It goes right down inside, and you push it down inside, okay? And then when you put it back in the gun, you have your lock and your washer, and then you have a little piece here that goes inside. It fits in these little grooves in the side right here, and then this is your adjustment. Now, I want you to keep in mind something, that this gun is coming out very hot from the factory. I would say it's running about 2300 psi, something like that. Now, what I've noticed, I got another new one, and I was doing some testing. The gun itself seems to be shooting an 82 grain GSB at about 15 to 1700 psi, somewhere around 930 to 940 per second. Now, understand, with settings that have come out from Fox Air or out of the box, it's running probably 1200 feet a second for a JSB. I didn't really pull it out, leave it at the rate it was, and test it, but I know when I shot it the first time, it was really coming out fast. Now, the biggest problem you have with that is you're wasting a lot of air with the regulator. Your regulator is supposed to save you air. If you're running it too hot, you're going to have issues with dumping extra air that you don't need to dump. So my suggestion is degas it, screw your regulator down, not real hard down, but just turn it down a ways, and then fill it up, and then start bringing it back up. And then when you hit about 1500 psi, start doing your chronographing and see where you want to use it. Now, the regulator has other O-rings that I've inspected that are fine. The only one I actually blew was the internal one that goes down inside. It sits on the edges inside. Now, it's wise to chronograph, and then if you're shooting like a heavier grain pellet, maybe like your 100, 125, and even the 145 that comes from Benjamin or Hornady, you can adjust your regulator to match that. But I would do it very, very carefully because of the amount of air that you're wasting. So by doing this, I think you'll get more shots at the same amount of power, and really you get the most out of your regulator. So now I'm going to put this back together, and hopefully this regulator isn't still stuck wide open, and make sure that the regulator is working correctly before I go any further. If I have to, I will have to order a new regulator for it. I really don't want to send the gun in because it takes so long to get it back. And I've been in contact with folks at Fox Air Power, and they've been very helpful for me. They sent the stuff right out. I got a whole set for the gun. They have sets now for all the AEA guns that you can buy. I think they're about $42. But the tech told me that they went to the best distributors to get the O-rings, and that's helpful to know because you want the best O-rings you can get. Now, the other thing, too, is I recommend you use the Dow 33. You can get that from Captain O-Ring. it's recommended by a lot of the airgun folks because it's so pure, and it's a really good grease for these O-rings. So I hope that helps you. If you have to take this out, once you unloosen the nut and the bolt, it's going to be hard, you got to give it a little hard push to push this out of the bottom of the gun. As you can see, you have to push it out. So you're gonna have to turn the gun, or turn the regulator, so this will be able to fit in without an issue. Okay, so you kind of tap it and move it out hard. Make sure you grease your O-rings good, and when you put it back together. So my hope is it'll work once I get it back together. I thank you all for watching, and I appreciate all your concern. I have not seen anything on how to deal with these regulators, and that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video. And I'm also trying to help out Fox Air, because you must degas the gun. Now, that goes with FX and a lot of other guns. It's better to be safe to degas the gun when you're playing with a regulator, because you can blow the regulator if you are not careful. Some people will say, well, you can move the regulator down and not hurt the regulator, but I found that that's not true. And then I got a thing from AEA saying definitely degas the gun, okay? And I know some people say, well, you don't have to degas it all the way. That may be true, but I tend to degas it to make sure that it's all the way out so it doesn't hurt the regulator. Now, with AEAs especially, you degas them by taking out one of the manometers, whatever they're called. So you remove your AEA manometer, and it will degas the gun. But I noticed the regulators clear up in the green, and I mean that's just way too hot. So the best thing to do if you want to save air and get the most shots is make sure that you do it slowly. Now you're gonna have to shoot it 3 or 4 times for the regulator to settle down. But once it settles down, you usually will get almost the same foot per second per each shot. So shoot it 3 or 4 times, make sure that the regulator is working properly, and then it'll give you a better idea where you're at with your feet per second. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And thank you very much for all your support. I hope this helps out the community in dealing with the new Elite BullPup. And I want to thank Terry and the crew for everything they do, because they got the parts out to me very quickly, and I appreciate all their help. Thank you very much, guys.